everyone. Hope you are all doing well, and welcome to my new tutorial. And in this tutorial I'm gonna talk about Jetpack navigation. So if you remember, in my previous tutorial I was talking about dynamic and static fragments. So although they were very flexible, like static fragment was pretty static, but dynamic fragment was pretty flexible with how do you dynamically add the fragments to the view group, right? But they were not so good in the sense like they were introducing a lot of boilerplate codes. So you always want to optimize your application. You don't want a lot of boilerplate codes in your application, and for that purpose, like a lot of boilerplate codes can create a lot of complications. Like you have to write a lot of unit test or UI test, and such like this thing. So when the user requires to add or remove and replace multiple activities, well, then there is a cool library introduced by Google, which is called Jetpack component. And yeah, we are gonna use it, and we are gonna use the most best practices to use our your best how to do some. We will be discussing also about how to do about the best practices that you have to follow while performing your this while developing your application. So one of the best practice is using Google Jetpack library, like navigation library. So this navigation component within the suite of Jetpack components enables us to reduce the boilerplate code and simplify navigation within our app. So this is one of the best practice that you have to follow. So we are going to use it to just modify the previously written application in utilizing the static and dynamic fragments. So let's rock and roll, and let's do that, and let's add a Jetpack navigation graph to our application. Okay, so let's start our code. Like let's do coding, and the first thing that you'll see is like I created pretty much navigation demo activity, which I'm gonna pretty much use to demonstrate my this Jetpack navigation graph. So how do we implement it? So we will be doing it step by step, and we will configure the navigation graph and add destination to navigate between fragments. Okay, so obviously there will be like dependencies. So let's go and add the dependencies first. Let me close up everything, and let me see if I have yeah, I already have a dependencies here. So I have a navigation so this is I have implemented this Android X navigation fragment KTX 253, and navigation UI KTX 2.5.3, right? It's like 2 dot, not point, like let's say 2.5.3. Okay, so this is the version. And okay, we have included our dependencies. So if you have not included your dependencies, just be careful that we have to first add your dependencies. Okay, so just please verify that these dependencies are added to your application. Okay, what next? So once you have added the dependencies, we will be creating our navigation graph, right? So we have to pretty much go to our yeah, we can also pretty much go to our, let me go to my project. It's always with the fragment navigation graph. Okay, also you can actually pretty much, actually I'm creating a resources, right? So I don't see, yeah, this is my resources, and just click on the resources, new, and Android resource file. Okay, obviously select here the navigation and just name it as a nav graph. Okay, and so what's missing here actually is okay, yeah, I already have a navigation graph. Let me put a demo. Okay, so yeah, we have created a navigation because navigation graph was already existing. So we created another navigation graph called nav graph demo, which is pretty empty. right? You can go to the design, and there is a two-way of how to add fragments, new fragments to this navigation graph. Okay, so you can either add by clicking this pretty simple button like new destination, or you can just do it manually with the code, right? Okay, but still we have to update the navigation graph, demo navigation graph component, right? Let me make it more simpler. Let me add a destination. The first destination I will be adding is like a fragment list, right? A navigation list fragment. Okay, this is the destination. So actually if you check the code, it's pretty like you have the start destination of a navigation list fragment, and you already have this fragment, right? And obviously we also have to add another fragment, which is pretty much a detailed fragment. Yeah, and pretty much you can also do it similarly. You can add also like actions, so it's pretty simple, guys. Everything is automatically generated, and it's pretty simple. Now we have to go more, and so we were able to create and update our navigation graph, and you can see the design view. It's pretty solid view that you can see here. You can split the view and see more. And let's go to the navigation demo activity, and what else, like, okay, let me go one by one. Okay, actually we were pretty much able to do it everything, but just be careful that this action is pretty much the action. This is the action that it's pretty much navigating from this navigation list fragment to detail fragment. As you can see here, the action, the id is action navigation list fragment to detail fragment, and the destination, it's actually the destination is from navigation list fragment to detail fragment, and you see the destination is assigned here, the id of this fragment where it is going to navigate. Okay, so actions are what link the destination within the navigation graph together. So actions pretty much link your navigation graph together, like link the destination within the navigation graph together. The destination here, action here has an id, so you can refer it in your code, and has a destination with which when used it will redirect to. So now we have added our navigation graph, so we need to use it to link the activity and fragments together. So let's link our activity and fragments together. So first we have to also update, this is my navigation demo activity. So actually it is a pretty much it's a normal fragment container view, which is pretty empty view. So here what I have to do is I have to pretty much add my default okay, let me just modify the code, the XML file. So what we have to do here is we have to put the default nav okay, let me see. Okay, so the most important thing here, what I have to do is it's called nav host fragment. Okay, it's obvious match parent, and then default Android default nav host equals to true, and obviously we have a nav graph. Actually it is for application, guys, so I have not implement my application here. That's why I'm not I have to implement this namespace for application. That's why I was not able to implement this default nav host. And similarly also I have the nav graph, which is obviously provided by the namespace. Application namespace, and navigation is a nav graph demo. So this is our navigation, that what we are gonna use. So finally, yeah, we also have we were able to add our navigation graph and link it to our activity. Okay, so we are able to do that. And uh, what next? The next as you can see here, if you check out the layout, what it is here, you have a pretty much a fragment container view that was added. And you have added a, okay, so there I have also I still need to provide also another thing, is the name. Your name should be nav host fragment. Sorry, it's not this one, but it must be a Android X dot navigation fragment dot nav host fragment. Okay, so this is the, this name is very important. It will host the fragments from the nav graph, okay, that we have just created. And this default nav host, it means that the default app's default navigation will be this one. That means this will be the default navigation, the okay. And the navigation graph, what it will be using is this navigation graph that we have just recently created. And uh, yes, so you can have more than one nav host fragment in the layout for controlling two or more areas. So you can have more than one nav host fragment, okay, in the layout. So in the same layout we can have more than one navigation host fragment. So this is our navigation host fragment, and we can have in one our layout we can have more than one navigation. So you can have more than one navigation here. So I can add one navigation and also another one for controlling two or more areas of the screen that manage their own fragment so which might be useful also for the dual plane layouts in tablet. Okay, but there is only one that can be default, so only one will can be a default. Okay, so this is the thing. So we have to make some few changes to our list activity, but first let me just run and see if it is pretty working. I just want to verify. I don't see it's working. Build is successful, but see that there might be some kind of error. Yes, what was the error? uh, Inflating the fragment container view. Nah. Okay, obviously, because the problem is like the navigation list fragment is implementing the interface. As we see here, we have to implement this interface. um, which is uh, actually you can also implement it in your activity, right? So uh, so actually we don't need this list fragment. Let me see. We pretty much don't need this, listeners. Okay, so we can remove these boilerplate codes. Okay, we don't also need this one. We also avoid this boiler. So you see, you can remove a lot of boilerplate codes. So you just have a we don't need also this override. We just need a on view created. Yeah, this is pretty necessary. We don't need this, we don't need to override this one. But the only things, the only changes that we have to make is here is pretty much we have to uh, for each star sign you have to do some particular changes here. So you sign, you have to click, set the click listener, and perform some here. But before, fragment bundle, and we need a fragment bundle. We need to put an int, is pretty much we have to put the star sign ID. Sign ID. Okay, so we have to create a bundle, fragment bundle, pass putting the intent star sign ID. Then we have to pretty much do something here. It's pretty much we have to create the navigation on click listener. So what we have to do is navigation, create navigation on click listener. So here what we have to do is we pretty much pass the we have to pass the action, and okay, let me see what we have here. We have a int and the bundle, right? Star sign, and so we pass the bundle, right? But let me sorry, what's this one? Okay, let me see the navigation graph that I have been using. So this is the ID of what I have to pass. So yeah, it should be this ID. The ID that we will be passing here to create our navigation is a resource ID. As you can see here, create navigation on click listener. This will be the resource ID of this the action that we have created. Okay, so pretty much we are okay. And what else? I think we are pretty much okay. Let's run the application again here. Let's hope that it's working. Okay, so this time it's working pretty fine. So Aquarius, okay, nothing is working here. Why nothing is working here? Because let me see. To detail fragment, and the detail fragment is let me check the detail fragment, why it's not working. So let me check the detail fragment. Okay, so let's see what's happening here in the detail fragment. So we have a on create view, on view created. So on view created, you just set the star sign data. Okay, so that's pretty fine. Okay, so what's working, not working here is new instance. Okay, this we don't care about this one, but what we care about is this new instance detail fragment. Yes, everything should be working fine, but we are not able to navigate. Let me go to the logcat and let me cancel it and let me very empty. Okay. So no tap action has been set up. Okay, so okay, what we are missing here is obviously we are missing something. Uh, we are missing. We are missing something for sure. Okay. What we are missing here, we have the navigation, we have the start destination, we have the ID. Okay, we have the destination, which is also the detail fragment, and actually it should be working fine. Navigation on click listener. Okay, let's see that it's let me log if okay, let me log if we are able to. Okay, let me log and see, check. Okay, so yes, we have the ID, right? We are pretty much able to. The thing that is not working here is like this create navigation on click listener. So why this create navigation on click listener is not working is let me check it. Let me see the import that I'm using. Okay, I'm using the navigation, the right import, but we are not able to pass on the navigation. We are not able to pass on the navigation. Yeah, there might be some reason behind it. uh, okay, let me run it. Okay, I'm not able to navigate. What is the problem? What is the problem? Navigation list fragment and detail fragment. Uh, demo. Okay, so there might be some okay, it's a fragment container view, and it's Android. We have a app namespace, then our name is navigation fragment dot nav host fragment. Android X. Navigation, fragment, and the width are pretty much transparent. Navigation graph is the navigation that graph that we are using. It should be pretty much working fine. So next demo. So I don't see any reason why it's not working. Okay, let's check it. Actually, this particular ID is not working. Let's do it again. Navigate to it's tail fragment. Yes, okay, let me try to navigate in this way. Okay, here we are able to navigate, but we are not able to pass the arguments. Let me see if I can. Yes, I think we can use pretty much id dot detail fragment is okay. I think pretty much the solution that I was using, create navigation on click listener, it's pretty not working fine. So I try to implement this solution and it's pretty working. Yeah, okay, so voila, it's working fine. So guys, yeah, the solution is into just find your navigation controller and navigate to your particular a navigation with the ID. So we don't need the action, right? So also sometimes, you know, this action can be pretty buggy, So we remove this action, we try to navigate directly using the id. So this is also another possible solution that's pretty working fine for me. Yeah, so yeah guys, so yeah, this is the tutorial. So it's all about implementing the navigation graph. And so now we were able to remove a lot of boilerplate codes, and to make our application much more simpler than the previous one, right? So uh, so we have pretty much removed more of the management of the fragment lifecycle to the Android framework, saving much more time to work on features, right? So finally, Jetpack Navigation is very powerful Android X component and enables you to map your whole application and the relationship between fragments, activities, and so on. So you can use it selectively to manage different areas of your application that have a defined user flow, such as the startup of your app and guiding the user through the series of welcome screen or wizard layout using journey. So layout user journey, right? So yeah guys, so I was able to just there was a slight problematic using the so let me comment the below the line navigation, create navigation on click listener. So there was a slight problem utilizing it, it was not working. I just tested it with the action. Yeah, but yeah, so there is alternative solution that it's much better solution is navigate directly to the particular fragment id and passing the fragment bundle, right? So this is the best possible solution. Thank you guys.